We have a reaction coming in from Prime Minister Modi regarding the warm praise that US President Donald Trump had posted about on Truth Social. Prime Minister Modi has said, India and the US are close friends and natural partners. He's further added, I am confident that our trade negotiations will pave the way for unlocking the limitless potential of the India-US partnership. That's the latest response coming in from India's Prime Minister. He has further added, our teams are working to conclude these discussions at the earliest. Prime Minister Modi has said in his latest remarks that he is looking forward to speaking with Donald Trump. He's further added, we will work together to secure a brighter, more prosperous future for both our people. Prime Minister Modi currently being seen balancing his outreach with strategic autonomy, especially given India's continued oil trade with Russia. That's the latest coming in. Prime Minister Modi has said India and the US are natural friends. Vishal Vivek has been tracking the latest response. Let's quickly go across to Vishal for a quick update from the newsroom. Vishal, it seems Prime Minister Modi is balancing this outreach with strategic autonomy, especially given the continued oil trade with Russia, but also in the backdrop of Donald Trump's warm praise.
Yes, and India's strategy seems to have worked clearly because on the one hand, we had US administration's continuous vicious attacks on the Indian administration. On the other, India's cautious approach and extension of olive branches one after the other. So that seems to have worked because Trump has been forced to be peaceful on this negotiation table. He has been forced to deal this hand in favor of India, and Trump's repeated posts do prove that statement, and Prime Minister Modi has also responded to that and said that India and the US are close friends and natural partners, and he's confident that trade negotiations will pave the way for unlocking the limitless potential of India-US trade ties that had blossomed to the next level in the last 25 years. We'll have to see how trade negotiations now kickstart, because this was the boost that was needed to restart those negotiations, and now we have that. We'll have to see which side reaches the other for the first time, because India and the US sides have parlayed for the last few months continuously, one month after the other. We'll have to see where the negotiation will take place next. The US administration had sent its delegation in July, but those talks derailed due to the Trump tariff war. Now this early morning message from PM Narendra Modi signals a different era in this India-US relationship, because the relationship seemed to be plummeting to new lows every day, with repeated attacks from Peter Navarro, who had single-handedly tried to ruin the relationship with his racist remarks one after the other. But these fresh statements from both the leaders of both the sides signal that the relationship is back on its feet, and we'll have an announcement of trade negotiations soon, because Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal also seemed quite confident as far as the trade negotiations are concerned. He indicated that though there is some friction between both the sides, he's positive that trade negotiations will follow, and that was followed by statements from both the leaders, which seems to indicate that there is a thaw between both the sides.
Vishal, so how will the continuation of India-US trade negotiations now affect bilateral tariffs, especially after the US imposed a 50% tariff and also penalties for the oil trade with Russia?
Yeah, that would be one of the first steps that the US administration will most likely take. We'll have to see when that happens, but now we can assume, predict that the 50% tariffs that India has been punished with, that would be brought down to about 25%, because the 25% tariffs that were levied on top of the 25% originally, they were sort of handed out as sanctions, because the US argued that India buys Russian oil, and that indeed propels and finances the Ukraine war, because the Russian economy is dependent on export of the crude oil that it produces. So that argument has been negated, because US itself is now coming down and trying to make the situation better than what it was before. So we'll have to see how that tariff level will be brought down, because that is the bone of contention. 50% tariffs on a big ally like India, that does not make any sense, is what experts and analysts have said. And India remained cautious. India did not try to be as aggressive as the US side, and that has resulted in this fruitful exchange between both the leaders. the exchange of bringing down of the level of tariffs will be the next stage in this thaw. We'll have to see when that happens, but that will most likely happen soon.
Right, in typical Trumpian style, we've seen the rhetoric swing from punitive tariffs to warm praise, with Prime Minister Modi being receptive as well at this stage. Vishal, what is the chatter behind the scenes? What's driving this sudden political shift? Is it political calculus? Is it global positioning or something else? Because on one side you've got Peter Navarro, who's like a loose cannon, and then on the other side you've got the man in charge, the chief of the United States, with warm praise for India and also not discouraging negotiations at this stage.
Well, Parmeshwar, there are 2-3 things to be looked at here. The first one is the clamor back in the US soil, because Democrats have been rallying against these repeated measures, these punitive tariffs that have been put across the world from the US side, particularly on India, the 50% tariffs, 25% of them being those punitive tariffs / sanctions. So the Democrats have been talking about this, that the age-old ties between both the sides have been ruined single-handedly by the Trump administration. That needs to stop. The other reason could be, many analysts and experts had also said that the fact that US had gone on to levy tariffs as high as 50% on India does not make any sense. The third one could be that there's pressure on the US administration from all the sides, because the fact that these tariffs affect not only India but also the US, that could be one of the reasons why he's trying to reverse the course, because many analysts and many experts have said that the prices would rise for US consumers as well due to the effect that the tariffs on India will have. So the prices will rise, and many products prices have already risen. Many companies have already said that they will be raising prices. So all of that could have forced his hand.